Hi, I'm back. We're doing 2 in a day. Fucking awesome. Alright, but they started without me. So I have to check that out. But this is, Dice versus Finchnator. We have Rise, fucking, I guess, Mienfu. Whatever. We'll just see as we go on, but I wanted to record this, so I'm going to record this. So we have Dice v Finchnator. Dice packing some of his favorite Dice Pokemon, including a knockoff Ferrothorn, Strong Ground, probably a Specs Salamence. He hasn't revealed it yet, but it's Specs. Dice loves Specs Mans now. So all the Dice favorites, and Finchnator rocking some very similar stuff. Both very widely regarded players. Dice a little more so for his building than his actual performances, but I think a solid player nonetheless. And Finchnator, obviously, you know, hot button topic, you know, the big tryhard, whatever, memes, fuck off. And we got some pretty similarly structured teams. We'll see which one of these is Scarf, if it is in fact a Scarf Landers, which Finchnator is known for running most of the time. But that felt a little strong. Maybe that's Earthplate? That would be interesting. Oh yeah, this is where he clicks. Ooh, that's probably a Spef Scarf, so that's not necessarily just clicking Draco Meteor. But it could hit Hydro Pump, which I think is a good all-purpose play. It'll hit. Oh, alright, well, maybe we'll see Dice taking the win today. But, this gives me a little bit of a chance to analyze. We have some similarly built stuff, spike stack offenses from both parties. Scarf Mienfu, I think, given that it did not show Life Orb, and there is no other Mienfu sets, also judging by the damage, that is 26%, not too high. It's not anything like Bandit or something crazy like that, but I don't think that's something that's going to see use, really. We've got a Double Dance Landorus, I imagine, a Stealth Rocking T-Tar, a knockoff, presumably Spikes Ferrothorn, a Starmie that I don't think has revealed a whole lot, has it? And Dice, of course, bringing up his one niche in this world. Oh, but Ferrothorn knocks off Tyranitar's Chopa Bear. That will have absolutely no effect in this game at all, as Dice is lacking a Focus Blasting, Psychic, or Ghost. And maybe it totally eats the high jump kick, otherwise I don't know. But, trades, rocks, spikes, Dice throws the spin, and it is leftovers, of course, leftovers Starmie. And yes, there it is, the Specs Mans, I told you, and he uses Hydro Pump like I predicted. I'm so good. Now the thing is, whether or not Dice will be anticipating the Preservation and doubling out to one of his Water Resists, both of which handily eat this. One a little more threatening than the other. The Rotom Wash, bit of a problem for Dice. I mean, it's Spadef, so it's not as keen to suppress the Landorus, but it is throwing around Wisp super freely at this point. His Absorber is, of course, Starmie, and unless it just wants to, you know, double right out to Tyranitar, minimize the impact, he is not doing a gosh darn thing. So, I would say at a glance this seems to favor Finchnator quite a bit, though, given his fight resists are a Latios and a presumed Scarf Landorus, this potentially opens up for endgame from Scarf Mienfu, especially if it is Reckless, though generally Regenerator preferred because of concessions it makes to chip from Stealth Rock, from Rocks, from like a Garchomp's or Rough Skin, Spikes, though I think that maybe Dice had the foresight of the fact that Starmie exists, so therefore he has a little bit less of an issue dealing with those spikes, but we shall see. Dice just looking to stay in, get the chip that he wants. It's not like this Garchomp has huge value in this matchup. It is another ground immune, which is nice for really just discouraging Earthquake from Landorus. It's not exactly a Garchomp answer, especially if this is something more aggressive. Now, oh no, he did. It is Chopless Guitar, so this is going to be either a, we have, oh, that's bad. That crit mattered. And, well, I mean, at worst, this would be revealing whether or not this was a Scarflander or Scarf Garchomp, because of these two, one of these is going to be Scarf. We're not sure. I would think that it's Garchomp because of the massive freaking Volcarona weakness. If it is Pasho, it can set up on Rotom. If it's whatever set it is, it can set up on a -2 Latios, and from there it just burns through everything, which is a big problem with a lot of Sands nowadays. Their big fire resists are all bug weak, or they're like something a little iffy like Garchomp, which is why I think that at this point in the metagame, you should be running Bug Buzz on your Volcarona. It's a lot more, because initially there was a point where it's like fire, grass, ice coverage Volk was like the biggest thing, but now I think that at this point, more than ever, you should be opting out for Bug Buzz. Plus there's, which, it's a rough pick, but it's an option. So he does bring in the Mienfoo to Star K, throws the U-turn, and I would imagine goes out to Salamence? Yeah, Salamence, because it gives the least concessions, and if he just takes the Garchomp KO, then that's all well and good. No big deal, and excuse me, gracious. I don't think he wants to go Latios here. There's really no great need. I think, I would be keeping it around just as, that alternate fight resist. Not a great Mienfoo check, but it'll eat one and KO in return if that comes down to that in-game I was talking about. So now that he shows his Garchomp, which is obviously like the all-around best play to throw here, we could get a little information. Maybe it is his Scarfer, because if it is his Scarfer, he's going to be throwing Dual Chop. There are definitely dual chopping ST Garchomps, but they are mildly common. I'll say mildly common because Zam in general is that big a deal. You want to be able to, punch through that, and you're willing to take that slight drop in freaking accuracy is the word I was looking for. Goodness gracious, I am fucking insane. Of course, it comes with some risks, Rocky Helmet, Chip, all that does a little bit more to you, and all that, but there are not as many Rocky Helmet users. You don't see Rocky Helmet on Landorus nearly as much as you do in, say, like Oros, or I would imagine by extension Sun and Moon. It has gotten more prominent, but now you, really like the leftovers. And I can't really pin down any particular real good reason. I guess just more, more chip that you want to be keeping up. But he does show dual chop, so I think it doesn't. I would think that this would be a Scarf Chomp in this environment is all I'm gonna put down. It's tough to say with Finch because he's got something real that I really like to his building, where it's like bog standard shit. Like this is like, obviously look at all these prominent threats in the meta, like Rotom Wash. I mean, has fallen into disfavor with certain players, but it's still like very prominent stuff. But he's able to mix it up to the point where you can be confused in the deviation. Of course, he Y-ins. He's not gay or foreign, so I'm not sure why he's Y-inning. That's awful, right? Thank you, Funk. Okay, but yes. So at this point, we could see Dice going for that double into Salamence, but oh wow, he actually goes for the goes to the Latios. I guess he is micromanaging his freaking doodly doo. Well, his Landorus, it hasn't switched in more than once into Stealth Rock, but with this he does lose out on his first of 2 fight resists, and there's a slight possibility that this Skarmory, I haven't seen what it used yet. Let's see. Okay, so it used spikes, it used roost, and that's all it's shown so far. Okay, so it is well within the realm of... Alright, sorry about that, I got interrupted by a little bit. But I was saying that he does remove one of the fight resist, ending to a potential endgame. He's got that, etc., etc. Okay, what I was saying is that a lot of Skarmory nowadays, especially ones on teams that are giving concessions to spikers, might opt for giving concessions to spikers and don't have a spinner to make use of that, are opting for a no attacking Skarmory with a Taunt, Whirlwind, Spikes, Roost is what I'm trying to say. I can't talk. Jesus Christ, why do I do this? But, if that is in fact the case, then Mienfoo is a Minxiao. I just got off a little cup game and now I'm back in this. It's a mess. It's a mess, guys. Ooh, and he does make that play and gets... Oh, that's stupid. Finch is so lucky, Jesus Christ. Alright, that was a good play on Dice's end. Unfortunately punished by the fact that Finchinator is a lucky piece of garbage. And he tries for it, and that's no good. So that's going to just lead to an endgame from Scarflanders. But, yeah, I think that he was still in a decent position with all that, given that it was presumed to be a, if it was Reckless Mienfoo, that's even worse. Well, and it should be, because he, oh, you know, it probably was, given that he didn't, try to switch in and out for Regenerator. So that's unfortunate. It means, yeah, it would have meant that Mienfoo actually had a chance in endgaming if that was in fact a Brave Bird-less Skarmory, which is possible. I think that it could potentially not be, given that Finch made a pretty good effort of keeping his team off the ground, which might have been a Dice prep, but it also might have alluded to the fact that it's a Dice prep because Dice loves spamming like multiple grounds nowadays, and that really dings his process. But it could also allude to the fact that he was okay with giving up spikes and therefore was able to opt for that freaking Brave Bird non-taunting Skarm. Just let people get up some spikes here and there, whatever. I want to be able to chip the Starmies and, actually do damage to certain Pokemon that I want to check. However, Finch taking his time, so this might indicate that he is not Scarflanders. Because, 54 to what I can only imagine is a spit-off Skarm, given the fact that he switched it in, has to mean that this is a Spexman's, and I know Dice well enough. I know that he doesn't use other Salamence sets, at least for the time being. I think there's some potential in Mints. It's a weird Pokemon to work off of, just because it'll find itself filling in that really oversaturated role of Pokemon that should be doing what Lotties are doing for your team, except it's slower and Stealth Rock weak, and that's like a really big thing, because now you're below Keldeo, and you can't speed tag Garce and all that. But it has value, because the Intimidate is always good on anything ever. There's an inherent quote-unquote surprise value in being able to like pump into Landorus or something, or even DM, I guess, is ridiculous in setting up something potentially like a Mienshao, though I wouldn't consider it as a foolproof thing versus an offense. But is that really his play? Yeah. Oh wait, yeah, because I guess it is a yeah. Okay, so this probably does indicate that yes, this is a Scarf Garchomp and maybe a Gravity Landorus. That, because that would make sense, given that 43 to Ferrothorn was unusually high, and he didn't use it as an opportunity to boost either. So that could be, you know, the gravity earth plate set. The Solange. Quality artist. Look at A Seat at the Table. What's the name of the track? So, yeah. And he's going to be shooting for the crit here. Finch has really no I mean, yeah, he could go for it, but it wouldn't make sense. Alright. But that was a tight game. I think that that HPI's crit put Finch in a much better position than it needed to. But all the same, both players played really well, and it was a nice set to watch. I hope that I can next time, you know, come in here earlier with a fresh attitude and a good old smile. And bless up, everyone. Fuck you, though.